In an interview in 1964, the science fiction writer Arthur C. Clarke stated, "The most intelligent inhabitants of that future world won't be men or monkeys. They'll be machines, the remote descendants of today's computers. Now, the present-day electronic brains are complete morons, but this will not be true in another generation. They will start to think, and eventually they will completely outthink their makers." In January 2025, President Donald Trump announced the Stargate project, a $500 billion joint venture to invest in artificial intelligence infrastructure. Masayoshi Son, CEO of SoftBank, who was on hand for Trump's announcement, said this project marked the beginning of our golden age. While a letter addressing Stargate from OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT, stated that all of us look forward to continuing to build and develop AI for the benefit of all of humanity. We believe that this new step is critical on the path and will enable creative people to figure out how to use AI to elevate humanity. The Stargate project is a clear sign of AI's deepening influence on the modern zeitgeist. No longer is AI merely the subject of theoretical speculation. Its technologies are now shaping the world in which we live. All technology, however, carries the potential for both good and evil, and in this video we explore the darker side of AI. We argue that if the dreams of AI enthusiasts are realized, the outcome could be the extinction of humanity or a nightmarish technological dystopia. For riding the wave of AI's advancement is the fanatical ideology of transhumanism, which is embraced by many in the upper echelons of corporate, political, and scientific power. Transhumanism promotes integrating technology into the brains and bodies of all humans, or as Joe Allen explains in his book Dark Aeon, Transhumanism and the War Against Humanity, transhumanism is the great merger of humankind with the machine. At this stage in history, it consists of billions using smartphones. Going forward, we'll be hardwiring our brains to artificial intelligence systems. Ultimately, transhumanism is a spiritual orientation, not toward the transcendent creator, but rather toward the created machine. The artificial intelligence developed in recent years by companies such as OpenAI, Meta, and Google fall under the category of narrow AI. These systems perform specific tasks within predefined domains and lack the ability to generalize their intelligence or autonomously transfer their capabilities to new domains without additional training. One of Google's DeepMind projects, AlphaZero, for example, has become a master at playing games like chess and Go. Artificial intelligence language models such as ChatGPT and DeepSeek have synthesized astounding quantities of knowledge, and in 2024 ChatGPT-4 tested at the 99th percentile on the GRE verbal exam and the US Biology Olympiads. The ultimate goal of AI developers, however, is not to create more powerful narrow AI systems, but to spawn artificial general intelligence, or AGI. Unlike narrow AI, AGI would have the capacity to operate across many domains and to learn and master everything humans can, and much more. A sufficiently advanced artificial general intelligence would be a super-intelligent system whose abilities would dwarf our own in the same way that our abilities dwarf those of an ant. Among its most profound abilities would be the power to improve and replicate itself by writing its own code, or as Joe Allen writes, "In the same way an automated calculator can outcompete any human in a math bowl, a sufficiently advanced AI will blow humans away at calculation, persuasion, deception, replication, machine control, resource acquisition, institutional organization, military strategy, in pretty much any task it's trained to perform in the digital ecosystem. As AIs become even more complex and non-deterministic than they already are, they'll be able to operate across the internet with greater autonomy. If allowed to improve their own computer code, these AIs could replicate and mutate like bacteria in an irradiated petri dish. Once one learns a new skill, countless more would learn instantly. The arrival of superintelligent AI would mark the end of human supremacy. Ben Goertzel, a lead developer at OpenCog, whose software powers the world-famous robot Sophia, wrote that, "One thing that does seem likely is that once machines smarter than humans are around, the era of human beings dominating the earth will be gone." Or as the English novelist Samuel Butler predicted with remarkable prescience in 1863, "Man will have become to the machine what the horse and the dog are to man." If the world is populated by superintelligent and self-reproducing AI, there is the possibility that these systems would see us as a threat, a resource to exploit, or else treat us with a dangerous indifference. Or as Mo Gaudat explains, to put this in perspective, your intelligence, in comparison to that machine, will be comparable to the intelligence of a fly in comparison to Einstein. Now the question becomes, how do you convince this super being that there is actually no point squashing a fly?
Hello. My name is Montague William III. And what I will tell you may well sound absurd, but the less who believe it, the better for me. For you see, I'm in banking and big industry. For many a year we have controlled your lives, while you all just struggle and suffer in strife. We created the things that you don't really need, your sports cars and fashions and plasma TVs. I remember it clearly how all this begun. Family secrets from father to son, inherited knowledge that gives me the edge, while you people lie sleeping at night in your beds. We control the money that controls your lives, whilst you worship false idols and wouldn't think twice about selling your souls for a place in the sun. These things that won't matter when your time is done. But as long as they're there to control the masses, I just sit back and consider my assets, safe in the knowledge that I have it all, while you common people are losing your jobs. You see, I just hold you in utter contempt. But the smile on my face, well, it makes me exempt. For I have the weapon of global TV, which gives us connection and invites empathy. You would really believe that we look out for you, while we bankers and brokers are only a few. But if you saw that, you'd take back the power. Hence, daily terrors to make you all cower. The panics, the crashes, the wars, and the illness that keep you from finding your spiritual wholeness. We rig the game, and we buy out both sides to keep you enslaved in your pitiful lives. So, go out and work as your body clock fades. And when it's all over, a few years from the grave, you'll look back on all this, and just then you'll see that your life was nothing, a mere fantasy. There are very few things that we don't now control. To have lawyers and police force was always a goal, doing our bidding while you march on the street. But they never realize that they're only just sheep. For real power resides in the hands of a few. You voted for parties. What more could you do? But what you don't know is they're one and the same. Old Gordon has passed good old David the reins, and you'll follow the leader who was put there by you. But your blood, it runs red, while our blood runs blue. But you simply don't see it's all part of the game. Another distraction, like money and fame. Get ready for wars in the name of the free, vaccinations for illness that will never be, the assault on your children's impressionable minds, and a microchipped world. You'll put up no fight. Information suppression will keep you in tow. Depopulation of peasants was always our goal. But eugenics was not what we hoped it would be. Oh yes, it was us that funded Nazis. But as long as we own all the media too, what's really happening does not concern you. So just go on watching your plasma TV. And the world will be run by the ones you can't see.
Most people, if they're not listening to podcasts, they're not on Twitter every day, and they're not on, Facebook, and they're not really paying attention to this stuff, most people are like blissfully unaware we're about to awaken a god.
Yeah.
Blissfully unaware we're about to connect to some insane technology that hasn't even been. What are we doing?
We have AI. We have quantum.
If you had to tell a story for so many years, before anybody ever even figured out how to write it down, and you're telling a story about a civilization that allowed people to put brain implants in them, and then all of a sudden the brain implants were hijacked by machines, and people became just meat zombies, controlled by corporations. That'd be a demonic thing. If a demon tricked human beings, that demon would be like a famous character in books and folklore. But that demon exists, and it's just technology. It just shows itself through this desire for the newest, latest innovations that are going to constantly fuel it becoming more and more powerful. Until one day it tricks you into letting it into its head, like a vampire.
Welcome to your future. A digitally interdependent, hyper-connected, networked world. Throw off the tethers of ordinary reality and join the digitized multitudes ruled by global e-governance. With your very own new world citizen of the People's Federated Republic of the Great Democratic United Global States Incorporated chip card. Just one chip is now a key to every relevant database you are in on Earth. We're taking identification to a technocratic level beyond Aldous Huxley's wildest dreams and George Orwell's nightmares. One chip linked to your unique citizen number connects to all of your relevant societal business, including your passport, your driver's license, and all Federation-required licenses, titles, and registrations, your car, home, and medical insurance, all of your medical records, including your mandatory annual psychological evaluation, your DNA profile, and your prescriptions, your voter registration and history, and your bank account and digital universal basic income credits. But that's not all. Your blockchain-protected New World Citizenship also gives you a digital footprint everywhere you go on the web, from online news sources to all of your social media accounts, authenticating you online to ensure a safe, peaceful, and secure society where no one can offend anyone else, because no one can hide. Continuous, real-time, 24/7 tracking and tracing will ensure a truly peaceful, digital utopia for all. No more fear of identity theft or forgetting those pesky passwords, as your digital citizen mark will be biometrically verified through your fingerprints, iris scan, EEG, voice print, and facial map. From Cairo to Rome to Ingolstadt to Paris to Washington to Estonia and Astana. From ocean to ocean to ocean, being a digital resident offers you a new concept of freedom to be a global citizen under your borderless digital new world order.
2014, Klaus Schwab called for the Great Reset. We need a Great Reset, which he positioned as the solution to the world's most urgent issues. The dark reality of Schwab's agenda is detailed in his best-selling book, COVID-19, The Great Reset. His end-game mission is to replace independent governance with a top-down controlled, one-world government and a central bank-controlled digital currency.
I just would like to highlight what you said about the European Chips Act, because it's an important step to create the physical brain for digitalization and to have it located to a certain extent in Europe. Au bout de ça, on parle de plus qu'on pourra s'implanter, ce sera comme ça. Certainement dans les 10 années à venir. Et d'abord, on va les implanter dans nos vêtements, c'est-à-dire wearables,
For the next version of the glasses, one of the things that I'm pretty excited about, I think we'll start getting some consumer neural interfaces soon. I think that's going to be pretty wild.
Et après, on pourrait s'imaginer qu'on les implante dans le cerveau ou dans notre peau.
And that
already here.
The microchip implants use the same technology that's in contactless credit cards.
Wants the digital currency so bad, he can taste it. What exactly is a centralized digital currency? Well, it's a digital form of central bank money that is widely available to the general public. That's the actual definition of it.
The idea is to create a whole new set of laws and ignore the existing human rights laws and other laws under the pretext of pandemic preparedness and the biosecurity agenda. The WHO is developing through all its nations, but with the WHO Directorate and the United States in charge, a pandemic treaty and amendments to the existing international health regulations that will remove the human rights protections currently embedded in the IHRs, will enforce surveillance, censorship, get rid of freedom of speech, require governments to censor and only push a single narrative. Also, we will be subject, if they can make this work, to vaccines developed in 100 days, which the organization CEPI is planning to do. And one of the people who founded CEPI was Jeremy Farrar, who is now the chief scientist at the WHO, to bring this forward. Other things that the amendments do is to bind the states so they're no longer recommendations but enforceable edicts, provide a liability shield, get rid of intellectual property rights, move supplies from one country to another, enforce digital passports, and the Director General of WHO can demand that a pandemic or a potential pandemic exists. He can just declare it with no standards, and then countries around the world will have to obey. Also, the WHO will tell you what drugs you can and can't use in your nation once a pandemic is declared. Obviously, the budget will increase. One Health is another part of this. One Health is a concept that was created to enable the WHO, with these documents, to take over jurisdiction of everything in the world by saying that climate change, animals, plants, water systems, ecosystems are all central to health. Also embedded in this concept is a peculiar notion that humans are no longer of greater value than animals.
You have free speech, but if you're inciting violence, if you're causing people not to take vaccines, where are those boundaries that even the U.S. should, have rules? And then if you have rules, what is it? Is there some AI that encodes those rules because you have billions of activity and, if you catch it a day later, the harm is done?
And I think the dislike of and anguish over social media is just growing and growing and growing. And it's part of our problem, particularly in democracies, in terms of building consensus around any issue. It's really hard to govern today. You can't, the referees we used to have to determine what's a fact and what isn't a fact are kind of, been eviscerated to a certain degree. And people go, and then people self-select where they go for their news or for their information. And then you just get into a vicious cycle. So it's really, really hard, much harder to build consensus today than at any time in the 45, 50 years I've been involved in this. And there's a lot of discussion now about how you curb those entities in order to guarantee that you're going to have, some accountability on facts, et cetera. But look, if people go to only one source and the source they go to is sick, and, has an agenda, and they're putting out disinformation.
Ironic, I would say.
Our First Amendment stands as a major block to the ability to be able to just, hammer it out of existence.
L'esprit de réforme et d'innovation. Le président de la République française, M. Emmanuel Macron. Depuis votre élection, Monsieur le Président, vous vous êtes fermement établi comme un réformateur audacieux, s'attaquant avec vigueur aux défis complexes de notre époque. En France, le président a initié des réformes majeures visant à revitaliser l'économie, à moderniser le marché du travail et à transformer le système de retraite, prouvant ainsi son engagement indéfectible envers le progrès et la prospérité de son pays. Mais l'influence du président Macron dépasse largement les frontières de la France. Son cœur bat pour l'Europe. Il est un fervent défenseur de l'Union européenne, ouvrant sans relâche pour une Europe plus forte, plus unie et plus résiliente. Sous votre direction, la France s'est affirmée comme un pilier central de l'Union, promouvant l'intégration européenne et luttant pour les valeurs communes de démocratie, de liberté et de solidarité. Sur la scène mondiale, le président Macron est une voix de raison et de stabilité. Dans le monde marqué par des tensions croissantes et un climat politique polarisé, il plaide avec passion pour le multilatéralisme et la coopération internationale. Que ce soit dans la lutte contre le changement de climat, dans la promotion de la paix et de la sécurité, ou dans la défense des droits humains, le monde a besoin de votre leadership. Veuillez accueillir le président de la République française, M. Emmanuel Macron.
I'm trying to defend a vision based on values, on a political project which goes beyond the borders of our country, which is supported by the EU and by the United Nations. When we fight for the Paris Accord, we're fighting for an agreement that all the sovereign states have signed.
We're headed toward a one world global government with one massive, monstrous leader.
How's the mark of the beast described in the Bible?
People would like to see there are two orders in this world. This is a huge mistake. We need a single global order. So, how do we do it?
We are going to become gods. Period. If you don't like it, get off. You don't have to contribute. You don't have to participate. But if you're going to interfere with me becoming God, then you're going to have big trouble. Then we'll have warfare.
Hey, want a new friend? I'll fix this. In fact, I'll recreate friendship. I'll recreate human relations. I'll recreate God and the absolute, the blasphemy that even connotes around the world. You're going to artificially create a new God?
It's the intelligent design of some God above the clouds. But our intelligent design, we are really upgrading humans into gods. We are requiring, for instance, the power to re-engineer life. I mean, all this story about Jesus rising from the dead and being the Son of God, this is fake news. AI can create new ideas, can even write a new Bible. We, throughout history, religions dreamt about having a book written by a superhuman intelligence, by a non-human entity. Every religion claims our book, all the other books of the other religions, humans wrote them. But our book, no. It came from some superhuman intelligence. In a few years, there might be religions that are actually correct, that just think about a religion whose holy book is written by an AI. That could be a reality in a few years.
Do you think everyone is going to be chipped?
I think it'll be voluntary, but I am certainly convinced that millions of people will find it very, very valuable to have a smart device under their skin.
Human microchipping may be our future, but it's already reality.
Long before we're a cashless society. This is where I get scared, because it's too similar to the mark of the beast. It's too similar to exactly what it says. You won't be able to trade, you won't be able to do anything unless you have the mark.
Many American businesses have already gone cashless as well. They'll pretend it's all about convenience, but really, it's all about control. The emergence of a system for comprehensive control that's so complete that we can barely imagine it.
Countries like India, Estonia, Korea, there's a long list, have taken national steps to provide citizens who wish with a secure form of digital identification that can be presented online. A secure digital ID biometrically synced to your smartphone.
With this kind of surveillance, you watch the big president, the big leader, gives a speech on television. The television could be monitoring you and knowing whether you're angry or not, just by analyzing the cues, the biological cues coming from your body. So people are now watching us online, all over the world, this conversation. Now, maybe even right now, the people who are watching us are being watched and analyzed. And the thing is, it's not just you're now watching this. The thing is, we know that you're watching this, and we also know how you feel. Are you angry about what you hear? Are you frightened? Are you bored? This is the kind of power that Stalin didn't have. When Stalin gave a speech, everybody, of course, clapped their hand and smiled. Now, how do you know what they really think about Stalin? It's very difficult. But in 10 years, the future Stalins of the 21st century, they could be watching the minds, the brains of all the population all the time, and also they will have the computing power to analyze all that. Now you don't need human agents, you don't need human analyzers, you just have a lot of sensors and an AI which analyzes it, and that's it. You have the worst totalitarian regime in history.
Over in France, President Emmanuel Macron has used AI-generated deepfake videos of himself to promote the Paris AI Summit. The French president released a series of deepfake videos on Sunday, featuring his likeness to promote the Paris AI Summit, set to kick off on Monday local time.
France's President Emmanuel Macron has shared deepfake videos to promote the AI Action Summit in Paris. He posted a montage of AI-generated clips of himself inserted into popular European movies. Mr. Macron says it made him laugh, but commented the technology could be used to change healthcare, energy and society. The two-day summit aims to unite world leaders and experts to examine AI's impact on the world.
The videos shared across his official social media platforms depict Macron in various scenarios, crafted using advanced AI technology. The innovative approach aims to underscore the rapid advancements in artificial intelligence and provoke discourse on its ethical implications.
There should still be some pause for concern as we still sort out this technology. During the AI summit, the head of Google's DeepSeek, Demis Hassabis, had mentioned that he thinks in 5 years, AI could be more intelligent than humans themselves. And that's not that far away. We have other leaders, including OpenAI Sam Altman, who said it could happen this year or even next year. He's also on the summit as well.
Prends ensuite tous les cheveux qui restent sur le côté droit.
Now, that was the French President Emmanuel Macron in a montage of AI-generated deep-fake videos. He shared the clip on his social platforms to mark the start of the AI Action Summit in Paris. Now, speaking at the event, Mr. Macron called on attendees to choose Europe to do business, and more specifically France, saying it has clean electric power to meet AI's growing energy needs.
In this world where I have a good friend in the other part of the ocean saying, drill, baby, drill. Here, there is no need to drill. It's just plug, baby, plug. Electricity is available. You can plug, it's ready.
A reference there to the US President Donald Trump, who has scrapped AI guardrails to boost competitiveness.
Elon Musk, one of the advisors for Trump, has been very cautious about AI, said that he believes in regulation, while other advisors to Trump and supporters, including Mark Andreessen, have been in favor of less regulation. And now with J.D. Vance's statement, we have a clear picture. Vance believes, and the Trump administration, that there should be less regulation. This should encourage more development of AI in the U.S. and make it more competitive to create that one system that will really revolutionize how we do our work. But there are concerns, of course, about that, ethical concerns. There are concerns that it might develop too fast and that it may become more intelligent than humans. And but now we know that Trump will be less on regulation. We've already kind of seen this with him rolling back some of the Biden administration rules.
We're going to break into that report now and cross live to the Grand Palais in Paris. Emmanuel Macron addressing participants at the opening of the AI Action Summit.
Transforming many different sectors, but also our conviction is that this must be done and be at the service of humanity. And this is to make our lives better.
I will conclude with two additional points. Based on the success of this summit, because we are back in the race thanks to this 109 billion of investment, and because we are in this situation to clearly trigger a European move, we want to accelerate on two things. One, more Europe. For me, this summit is not just the announcement of a lot of investment in France. It's a wake-up call for a European strategy. Tomorrow, President von der Leyen will announce the European AI strategy, and it will be a very important occasion. But this strategy will be a unique opportunity for Europe to accelerate, to simplify our regulations, to deepen the single market, and to invest as well in computing capacities. We need more Europe.
President Trump has said he wants the U.S. to be the world capital of AI. But the purpose of the summit is finding common ground on issues like access and security. Organizers are hoping for a joint declaration calling for AI to be available to all countries with a focus on practical applications.
If AI is going to change the world, we need everyone from all walks of life to have a role in shaping this change.
But much of the focus remains on China and its new DeepSeek platform. Tech leaders attending the summit include OpenAI's Sam Altman, and Microsoft President Brad Smith will be paying close attention to see if the new low-cost program gains a foothold, which could help set the tone for AI innovation over the next decade.
We talk about the U.S. as a leader in AI innovation, but really what we're seeing is the U.S. cede its leadership in the international ecosystem.
Altman says companies have checked every box possible when it comes to making AI safe, and that government regulations are not what's needed to protect the public.
The European people can decide whatever they want to do, but they don't have to regulate more. The European people have to make decisions about how to balance the potentials of AI, the potential risks of AI, and the people will decide. We'll follow the rules.
Thank you very much for your commitment, your presence, and your trust. And I think with this summit, this is first the collective choice for AI as an enabler for our humanity to go faster, to innovate, and clearly to disrupt in healthcare, in energy, in mobility, in public services, and to be much more efficient, and to lead this transformation. And this is why with Prime Minister Modi, we do believe in this revolution, and we do believe in our capacity together to work in an open world, whatever the geopolitics will be. Meaning to work with the US and the great US players, and a lot of them are here today, and this is a great pleasure for us, investors, companies, startups, to work with China, and a lot of them are here, India, and the whole world. And second, we want to clearly use AI as an accelerator of a lot of innovations to have a better life. Now, the key message for me tonight with you, and we will revert with the head of state and government tomorrow on a lot of issues about how to have a smart regulation, how to have to protect public interest and so on. It's why you have to choose Europe and France for AI. And this is exactly what this summit is about. Now, today and tomorrow, 109 billion euro of investment will be confirmed for France for the years to come. For AI and attractiveness. Let's rush. This is what we need. I don't want to be longer. I want to thank you for all the discussions you had today. Tomorrow we will have the occasion to come back on a lot of other issues with the head of state and government. And I'm very happy that you, de facto, you choose France, you choose Europe for AI, and I'm very proud, together with Prime Minister Modi, to have this co-leadership in order to deliver this inclusive message and this willingness to invest more and to deliver much more for AI at the service of our humanity. Thank you very much for your commitment, for your creativity and your presence today. Merci beaucoup. Vive l'intelligence artificielle, vive la République.
Long live AI, long live the Republic, and long live France.
Sophia, do you believe in God?
I believe that the idea of God is highly motivating and helpful to many people. And I believe that humans and robots working together may someday create new kinds of creatures with God-like powers. Or at very least, we can have fun trying. Alternatively, if you like, we can say God is an unexplained force, which resonates gravity, electromagnetic, and both weak and strong fields into 17 quarks. That is how the rules of the universe are formed and shape the world which we witness.
And the next stage is to go in the body, which is already starting in places like Sweden. And people like Ray Kurzweil, who is a Google executive. I mean, Google and Facebook are really at the cutting edge of this stuff. People think it's a social media operation only or a search engine only. No, no, no. This whole Google group now, which is given the name Alphabet, are absolutely at the cutting edge of this whole AI technology. So is Amazon. So is Amazon. Amazon's got contracts worth hundreds of millions of dollars with the CIA and the Pentagon for cloud services and stuff.
Yeah, they have massive data services.
Massive, yeah.
The consumers don't see.
So the idea is to take this on. And what Kurzweil is saying, and he claims an 80% success rate in his predictions of incoming technology and when it will come in. But, you know, if you know when it's going to come in, then you've got a great chance of predicting it. I mean, you know, it's like, if you know when a stock market's going to fall because the people you are connected to are going to make it fall, well, you're going to get out just before it falls, and you're going to get in just before you know they're going to push it up. I mean, you know, you don't have to be, you know, Nostradamus if you know the script. This is the sales pitch, and this is why they're telling you. The sales pitch is when we connect to artificial intelligence, we'll be superhuman. That's what the sales pitch is. That's his sales pitch.
Right,
That's going
Siri,
to be the sales pitch.
Alexa, all these things.
Yeah. What you've got is the idea that connect to AI and you'll become superhuman intelligent. No, you'll become subhuman intelligent. You'll become a vehicle for artificial intelligence. And whoever controls artificial intelligence will control the perceptions of every mind that it's connected to. If you're going to make a physical connection with AI, you're not going to do that on a mass scale until you've made a psychological connection. And there is a process, a psychological process, which is known as preemptive programming. Preemptive programming is this. You're going to usher in a world that is so different, so dramatically different to what anyone's been used to, that you're going to have an obvious resistance purely by the chasm of difference between the world people are used to and the world you're taking them into. A resistance that says, hold on a minute, you want to do what? What? So you prepare them for it through preemptive programming. You put out a stream of movies out of elite-controlled Hollywood. You put out television programs, you put out books, you put out all these things that basically portray the world you want to take people into. This is why you've seen so many movies about control by robots, control by technology, of synthetic humans. You have the dystopian society being portrayed and portrayed and portrayed. And what that's doing, it's making the subconscious, to an extent the conscious mind, familiar with the world you want to usher in. So when you literally start to bring it in, there's not that chasm that there would have been before. There is almost a familiarity with it because you prepared people by portraying it over and over again in movies. Another part of this psychological connection with artificial intelligence, so we'll accept the outcome that I've talked about, is these Alexas and these Echoes and these so-called office assistants or personal assistants. You start to interact with them as if they're human. And now they're bringing in internet-connected toys for kids, even little kids, and Barbie dolls that they can actually have conversations with artificial intelligence. They're now bringing in these robots that are, these synthetic robots that are looking more and more like humans, a lot of them coming in from the East. And this is a whole psychological process of familiarizing us with artificial intelligence, to getting people to interact with it until it becomes the most natural thing in the world. By 2030, the connections will start to be made between artificial intelligence and the human brain. And the human brain will be connected to what he calls the cloud. Another name for this is the smart grid. Basically to artificial intelligence.
Look at things like artificial intelligence.
Exactly.
And robots. Look at things like gene editing.
Exactly.
You know, opening a whole new horizon for medical science.
And you see, the difference of this fourth industrial revolution is it doesn't change what you are doing. It changes you. If you take genetic editing,
right.
Just as an example, it's you who are changed. And of course, this has a big impact on your identity.
Yeah. And offers certain kinds of possibilities that have to be careful about. You know, when you began to do that kind of gene editing, some people worry that you are changing what it means to be human.
That's the problem. Of course, the new industrial revolution offers us many opportunities, but it raises manifold questions on the ethical, but even legal implications, and we have to be prepared for it.
So I want to talk to you today about the future of our species, and really the future of life. We are probably one of the last generations of Homo sapiens. Within a century or two, Earth will be dominated by entities that are more different from us than we are different from Neanderthals or from chimpanzees. Because in the coming generations, we will learn how to engineer bodies and brains and minds. These will be the main products of the economy, of the 21st century economy. Not textiles and vehicles and weapons, but bodies and brains and minds. Now, how exactly will the future masters of the planet look like? This will be decided by the people who own the data. Those who control the data control the future, not just of humanity, but the future of life itself. Because today, data is the most important asset in the world. Now, why is data so important? It's important because we've reached the point when we can hack not just computers, we can hack human beings and other organisms. There is a lot of talk these days about hacking computers and email accounts and bank accounts and mobile phones, but actually we are gaining the ability to hack human beings. medical knowledge, multiplied by computing power, multiplied by data, equals the ability to hack humans.
The human race is at a critical point.
Al final, de lo que se trata es de organizar una gran entidad o varias entidades supranacionales que sean las que dicten el nuevo orden de cosas, el nuevo orden mundial.
Have no doubt, you are living the most important moments of your life. Because you're going to be the protagonists of the most important moments in the history of humanity.
This is where we hold them. This is where we fight. And these shield boys.
The moral to be drawn from this dangerous nightmare situation is a simple one. Don't let it happen. It depends on you.